Tonight, an update to a once notorious unsolved murder case in St. Paul.
At that moment, did you think you might be married to a killer?
I knew it was possible that I was, yeah.
Married to someone who murdered his first wife and worried she could meet the same fate. Tonight, in her first local television interview, Rachel Firkus tells Lou Raguse how she got into this marriage and how she finally got out.
Life was hard for both of us at the time.
When Rachel met Nick Firkus, she was getting out of an abusive marriage, and he was dealing with the death of his wife, Heidi.
How much of his story did you know?
I knew as much as everybody else did from, the news or from my sister.
State Patrol 911. Someone's trying to break into my house.
What Rachel knew is that Heidi Firkus was shot once in the back, killed during what Nick described as a home invasion while Heidi was on the phone with 911 to report it. Nick said a black intruder with a hoodie struggled with him over his shotgun. It fired twice, the first shot killing Heidi and the second grazing Nick's leg. Police did not believe Nick's story.
Do you have anything to do with this? No, absolutely not. Okay.
Did you know any of that at the time?
I did. I knew that there were people that didn't believe him, but it was always just passed over like it wasn't a big deal, like it wasn't anything to think about, that wasn't true. I knew basics, what people knew, what everyone else knew. Nobody really talked about much more than that. The Firkuses weren't going to talk about it. He said he couldn't talk about it, so that's all I knew.
And was there any part of you back then that thought Nick might have killed Heidi?
Not in the beginning, no.
Nick had the fervent support of his and Heidi's friends, which included Rachel's sister. They all told Rachel he's innocent. After bonding over their troubles, Nick and Rachel began dating, and before long, were married.
It was just, everything was hard, things move quickly, you talk about your hard stuff, and you build a deep relationship because of it.
Nick and Rachel began their lives together and had 3 children. At times, she wondered about the day his first wife was killed.
Did he ever talk about Heidi?
No. I would ask questions, and it was always very short. It wasn't, there was no details, which always confused me.
What did he seem like when he talked about it?
He was straightforward, but also like, I don't remember that part, So there were things that he claimed he didn't remember.
In their relationship, Rachel says Nick began lying about the little things.
I would say.
Happiness was quickly evaporating, and there was one detail about Nick's story that always bothered her. The bank had foreclosed on Nick and Heidi's St. Paul home, and they were scheduled to be evicted the day after Heidi was killed. Nick claimed Heidi knew, yet their house was not packed in any way.
Then I just started to look around. I started to get bad feelings, like gut feelings, that I didn't want to assume anything, because if I were to assume that he did something horrible, that's a big assumption to make. That's, you're saying that somebody could murder somebody. Like that's not something somebody often thinks of their spouse.
As she looked, inside Nick's sock drawer, Rachel found a notice that they were at risk of foreclosure for unpaid property taxes.
How quickly did your mind go to Heidi?
Like the little lies, brought me to Heidi every once in a while. But I was like, that's too big, like don't go there. And then this letter kind of tipped me over of just like, oh boy, now this is bigger than I thought it was.
Could Rachel potentially be facing the same fate as Heidi? She confronted Nick while recording about their money situation and about his first wife.
Your actions have caused me to just distrust you completely. And the fact that your lying was so easy for you to do in front of me over and over and over makes me think
That I could murder my wife.
that you could lie about something.
That I could murder my wife.
Yes.
At that moment, did you think you might be married to a killer?
I knew it was possible that I was, yeah.
Rachel says she continued to try to get
Horrifying.
answers, but when she didn't, she left him. Not long after, Rachel did get clarity when a St. Paul police detective knocked on her door and told her about their investigation. Nick was charged 11 years after Heidi's murder. And after a dramatic trial, it didn't take a jury long to convict him.
For the remainder of your life,
Nick received a mandatory life sentence as he stuck to his story.
I do maintain and will maintain to my dying breath my innocence of this crime.
It felt very fake.
Rachel wasn't able to watch the trial in case she was needed as a witness.
I don't.
When she finally saw Nick's 2010 interrogation video for the first time when the case was over, she was shocked by Nick's lack of emotion.
She didn't make it. I figured that.
It made me sick to my stomach to hear, yeah, I figured.
Now,
That was,
remarried and happy, Rachel's story is complicated, but in the end, for her, worth it.
I think I can wish it never happened because it was horrifying and traumatic, but I would go through anything to have those kids.
And Rachel says her kids are doing very well considering what they've had to learn about their dad. This interview is just one part of a full episode in a new digital series we're producing called Unsolved, sharing the stories of cases that have captivated people in Minnesota and across the country and perplexed the investigators working on them. And you can start watching full episodes of Unsolved very soon on KARE 11 Plus.
We look forward to that. Well, it was really brave of her to speak out. Do you know
Yeah.
why she decided now she would?
Well, first of all, a big part of how she got into the relationship with Nick was all the friends that supported him in his innocence. And now he's been convicted, and she is providing her voice both for herself and for Heidi, and to to get that story out there so everybody understands what happened and he was guilty.
Well, it's got to be
good for her to-
gut-wrenching.
yeah, to
captivating story.
Be
Wish her
able
the
to
best.
say that, to
Yep,
be able to
absolutely.
talk about it.
Thanks, Lou.